Hello guys, and welcome to the beginner series number 3. But first of all, I just want to give you a little information. I will cancel the advanced and the legend tier, and I will combine them into one tier. So I want to just give something back. I will make one new tier, so there will be 3 tiers on my Patreons: the helper, the supporter, and then the third tier with $25 a month. It's better for me because I don't need to split the videos, and it's better for you because it's more accessible. And with the $25 a month you will get all the content on my Patreon. So currently you will get 2 tutorials and tip files about a flower project, the Chanel project. There is a video of that on my channel too, and you will get a mineral explore kind of videos with rendering and mineral or crystal creation. And these changes will get available in the upcoming weekend, and I hope you will like this. The last 2 tutorials I talked about SOPs and dynamics or simulation, and today I just want to combine them a little bit. So we are here again in our familiar Houdini workspace, and I also scaled up the UI, so I didn't forgot that. Let me just save this quickly here. This is number 3. Cool. First of all, I want to start with a container, with a simple geometry container, and I will call this geo, let's call it 003 for beginner number 3. The part number 3. Let's make it round and black and dive inside. For everyone that will be new to the channel or new to Houdini, you can dive inside nodes with the I key, and with the U key you can dive up, or you can just double click the mouse on the node. Okay, cool. I want to start off with a simulation, with a simple pop simulation for example, and then I want to process that a little bit further. I will start with a geometry, and I will use a circle. I will go for another orientation here and just make a polygon out of it, give it a little bit more divisions. Cool, now we got our one primitive, our circle primitive here with 64 points, 46 points, and we can start with that as a foundation for our simple pop simulation. Place down a pop network, so press tab or right click and just type pop N, and you will get the pop network. We will connect these. There are several ways. Let me just show you this. When you select the node and type popnet and then shift enter, they will get directly connected. You can also just grab it out and then connect it with the mouse, or a new update in 18.5 is you can drag it out and with the connection button you can connect them, and with the scissors of course you can disconnect them. So that's of course fully up to you. We connected them and we already got our simulation. Currently there's only spawning particles, so it's really basic, really simple, but already with the simple particle spawning simulation you can already do a lot of cool things with it. For example, you can place down connect adjacent pieces and play with the connect adjacent pieces node here. Max points, and you will get something like this. So that's of course really simplified or basic, but you can already get a lot of cool things with just a few nodes. Okay, I want to generate particles that will get emitted in the first frame and then flow up with like a wind force, and after that I want to connect them as lines. Let's get started with that. Dive inside the network, and we will go to the birth tab here, disable the constant birth rate, disable the constant activation, and the impulse count we will go for, yeah, let's go for 150 points, and I only want to emit them on the first frame. So we will type $F for the current frame, and this frame needs to be equal to 1. So this will be a simple expression for the first frame. Now we will only emit on the first frame. After that we can place down a pop wind here, pipe it into the pre-solve, or we can pipe it directly here into that streamline. And now when we play it, nothing will happen, because currently we've got the pop wind or the pop wind force initialized, but we don't got any manipulation. When you now go to wind velocity and type in 0.25 for example, you can already see the particles will rise. And now the second manipulation will be, we will change the amplitude. And now you already got a really cool little animation with your pop particles. These are particles, they will get emitted one time. Okay, that's cool. Now we can dive up again and place down a trail node. You can already see what happened. You will get a point on the previous particle position based on the frame number. Now you can type in your total frame range. For me it's now 240 frames, and you will get something like this. That's cool, but I want to connect them, and that's pretty easy. Connect as polygons and disable the close row button. And yeah, we've got our simple kind of line simulation here. Pretty basic. What I want to do now, I want to scale the circle a little bit, and I want to increase our amplitude here too. Let's go 0.75 for example, and I want to decrease the swirl scale a little bit, just a little bit. And now we can simulate that, and we will get this simulation. Cool. That's the simulation part from beginner's part 2. And now we want to manipulate them with the beginner part 1. We did subs, geometry manipulation, noises, stuff like that. And I want to do that. Okay, let's get started. First of all, I want to trim them randomly, and there is a cool node for that. You can use the grouping pack here, and I think it's the guide group maybe. Is it adjust length? No, wait. It's the where is it? The groom, guide deform, guide process, lift, straighten, guide process. Let me just look it up. Guide deform. Here it is. Guide deform set length. I think that should work. We'll randomize the length here, and I want to randomize it, for example, between 0.25 and oh, they won't. I think they won't calculate a fitted ramp here between 0 and 1 here, but yeah. Okay, no problem. We can do that manually. So for example, arrange from 1 to 5. So we got a little bit of cutting here and a little bit of imperfection. Cool. We cutted them, and now, for example, we can resample them. With the resample node, I want to export an attribute called curvEview. We can look that up, go to the information and to the curvEview, and you will get a ramp or a float value along each line between a value of 0 and 1. So curvEview 1 to 0 for each line. To visualize that a little bit better, we can get a black body, or let's get a white to red, and now you can see the visualization of the float values on the lines. We can choose also black. Okay, cool. We've got our curvEview on our points here. For example, I want to make them a little bit smoother, so length 0.05 and feed polygon as a subdivision curve. Okay, we now have got our lines with the points, with the resample points and the curvEview attribute. And now I want to manipulate the curvEview with a warp. Let's place down a point warp, place it down, connect it, and dive inside. So now many maybe beginners will say, oh, but how I get a curvEview inside of here? There's a simple node called bind and bind export. We will bind, so we will import the curvEview, and for example we can bind it out to the color. But I want to manipulate the curvEview. We can do that for sure. First of all, I want to place down a multiply. Between the multiply and the curvEview, I want to place down a ramp parameter. And with the ramp parameter, we can remap the values with a ramp. Let's call this ramp remap. And also here, ramp remap. And the multiply is for a global scale parameter. Place down a parameter here and call it scale mult. And I will bind that out by an export to a parameter called, let's call it scale underscore mult. And now the cool thing is we can place down, for example, a polywire. Another thing you can, what you also can do, you can place down a copy to point and bind it out to p-scale. That's fully up to you. Let me have a look here. So you can also animate it later, for example, with the guide, or you will disable the guide and just get the raw information here from the PopNet simulation. That's fully up to you. Cool. We've got our exported attribute here, and now we can use that. Let's make like that, and let's scale the mult up to 1. But on the polywire, I want to get the wire radius, not by a float value. I want to get it by the parameter. You already can see we now can influence our curve or our curve thickness with the ramp here. And I think that's pretty powerful. 0.1 and let's go 0.25. Oh, it's now a fat curve, so let's get here. First of all, I want to make it a B-spline interpolation. And now with the scale multiplier, the cool thing is we can really easily change our global scale. So we've got that thing here. Looks like, yeah, like a coral or a growth effect. So of course that's again fully up to you. What I want to do now, I want to combine it a little bit and remesh that. Make some bunch of noises onto it and so on. I will do that with VDB from polygons. VDB from polygons 0.025 or 0.01. Yeah, I think that should be enough. And I want to convert them back, so place down a convert VDB to polygons. Between there you can also get some really cool nodes, for example VDB smooth, that it will smooth the VDB out, and the VDB, where is it, reshape SDF. For example, you can erode your VDB to get something like this. That looks pretty cool. Let's try out 2, 3. Yeah, let's get a little bit of erosion. And after that I want to smooth it. Let's get a really organic look here. Smooth the hell out of it to get something like this. Or let's make 50 and this on 2 and this on 2 also, to get, yeah, the shape a little bit conserved here. But I think that's pretty okay. Cool. So this is our little VDB process. This is the wiring process. This is the initial line process, and this is the simulation process. Cool. After that, I want to place down another VOP to introduce some surface noise to get a little bit of detail. Dive inside, place down an anti-aliased noise, for example. What's that? Oh, okay. The agent clip. We'll use a position here. And now with the position we can displace the geometry along the normal with this noise here. So displace along normal, get the position, get the normal, get the amount, and bind it out to the position. And you will get something like this. Maybe we will use that. Why not? So let's use that ugly thing right here and do the whole process again. To get something like this. Okay, let's decrease that a little bit. The reshape, I don't want to erode, maybe I want to dilate it a little bit. Maybe just a little bit, 3.5, convert it back, smooth it. Yeah, and we will get something like this. Another quick tip is you can use the VDB segment by connectivity to blast away or to keep the main part and the disconnected parts. So VDB from connectivity will divide or differentiate between the connected voxel meshes and the non-connected voxel meshes. So all these colored in meshes here, for example orange, green, blue, this green one here, orange again, these are not connected with the main mesh and you can blast them away. Surface 0 will be always the big red mesh or the main connected mesh, and the whole other 0, so 1 to 22, will be the separated meshes. For example, you can use them, of course, that's fully up to you, or you can just delete non-selected and switch it, and you will get only the main mesh. Cool. Place down a color here, so we get our normal white color back. Of course, that's now a little bit ugly, but let's just leave it for that now. Okay, but I want to still get a little bit of surface noise. The cool thing is you can do the process over and over again. You can do it in a loop or manually to get a little bit more directable setup here, but you can fully do it in loop 2 without directability. But it needs a little bit more time. Of course, what you can do now, you can just copy paste this whole tree here and do it again. Why not? And you will get something like this. So I think, possibilities are endless. So let's get this again here. But now I want to really introduce now a little bit of surface detail and not total complete deformation here. So I want to go down with the scale here and go up with the frequency, and again decrease the scale a little bit. Let's get a color back here. Where's the color? Here. Cooking again the whole tree, and let's insert a color here. 0.05. Yeah, to just get a little bit of surface noise introduced here. Cool. We've got that. Looks pretty, abstract. Some pretty cool forms in here, or structures. Especially here with this, kind of open mesh. Maybe a cave, something like that. Cool. Okay, we've got that, and now let's place down a final null here. Let me check the time. Okay, easy. Out underscore final. Cool. Place down a material, and now we will do some R&D rendering with Redshift. Mad RS. Dive up. Place down a camera. Focal length. Let's use a wider focal length. Enable the depth of field for now. Copy parameter. Paste reference. A bokeh image. Let's use a bokeh image. And COC radius, let's make it smaller for now. aspect is 1, so non-anamorphic bokeh. Okay, cool. Let's place down a material network and a ROP network. Color them in RS matte and RS out. RS out, place down a Redshift custom here. The camera is already inserted or linked up. And then you can enable automatic sampling or optics RT on supported RTX cards. And place down a RS material builder. So RS matte test, or let's just call it RLD. Cool, we've set it up the material, the out, the camera. We need light. Okay, RS dome, and let's choose a HDRI file. Cool. Noise. Nice. Okay, now let's get a cool perspective here. Central view, and just sort of the render view for now. And we will get this kind of view here. I will disable the background for now. And first of all, yeah, I want to get a interesting angle or an interesting composition here. Maybe something like that. And focus on here to get a little bit of rim light and a good spot here. And now we can play with the material. First of all, I want to place down a curvature. So we will evaluate or process the curvature here. Oh, wait. We need to assign the material. Shift W and just drag and drop the material in here. Cool, okay. Let's play with the radius and with the samples, of course. 0.01, yeah, something like that should be fine. Okay, composite, RS color composite. I want to use a noise, RS Maxon for example. Let's get a cool noise here. Luca turbulence. Let's use the turbulence, and I want to remap that a little bit. Where is the? This is the seed absolute. No, where is it? Here, the scale. Let's just scale it randomly a little bit. To get something like this. Pretty easy, cool. And then we can blend them a little bit, maybe with a multiply or with a subtract, with even a difference, or with a burn. Let's just use it like that. I will first get a material up here running, simple cover material. 0.35. And currently just a white material. And I want to do what I want to do. I want to pipe that into maybe reflectivity and remap it. So remap that thing again here. For example, white to something copper-like. Let's have a look again. Okay. I got another idea. We can just blend them. I think that's better. So material blender, and I will use that for the blending. So this layer here, let's just reset that here. This layer here will be our blend color. And now we can introduce two other materials. For example, that one and that one. And now we can blend between two materials with our color here. So for example, custom and platinum or copper. I want to pipe up the reflectivity a little bit. And I also want to split that a little bit up here. Of course, that's fully up to you. Let me have a look on that. Increase the contrast a little bit. That was too much, maybe. And now, of course, you can play with that. Make it a little bit rougher, and I want to set that on white, for example. And what I also can do, we've got here still our curvature. I can introduce a curvature, for example, for roughness. Let's pipe that into roughness, for example. Pipe that back. And now you can play here a little bit with the roughness. And you already got a pretty okay rendering. Of course you can go much further with that. Zoom a little bit in here. Something like that. I think that looks not too bad. Of course, keep that in mind, it's just R&D. But I think that looks not bad. Of course you can now bump up the ISO a little bit, or manipulate it in Photoshop, Affinity, Lightroom, composite it in Fusion, Nuke, and so on. That's fully up to you. But I think I placed a little seed in your mind, and I hope it will grow and you will get something cool out of it. I hoped that tutorial will help a little bit, and I will see you in the next tutorial or course. All links to my website, Instagram and so on are in the description. So stay safe, especially in these crazy times, and I will see you.